Now it would have been really nice if it had been in time for yesterday's video, right? You know what? Maybe what I should be doing is uploading an hour or two later. What do you think? Did I hear people in the UK saying, no, it's already almost midnight when we get to see it? Yeah, we'll just keep it the way it is. Well, here we are. It is the next morning. I have not opened my package yet, surprisingly. Well, you know, by the time it came yesterday, I was starting to feel a little bit tired, and I thought in order to do this justice, I may as well leave it for the morning. Not going to do anything with it anyway. And one of the viewers in a comment from yesterday's video asked, how do I know what I'm going to say, or something to that effect. And the bottom line is, I really don't know. Yeah, I just sort of wing it. Well, there we are. Now, I hope this is a brand new one and not one that somebody has returned to Amazon because they half wore it out or something. Well, maybe I'll reposition the camera here and we'll look down in our box. This looks like one of those power supplies that comes with a laptop. What do we got here? "24 volts. And I was thinking that maybe it would run off 12 volts. I don't know what made me think that, but we'll see how it goes. Oh, by the way, we got to check our battery today, don't we? I haven't checked it since yesterday. The last time I checked it, well, you saw me checking it. And some kind of solder. I don't know if this is an acid core solder or if it's just pure solder of some kind. I wish it said what it was. Maybe there's something in the instructions. Okay, our little sponge, I guess that's supposed to go in here. That makes sense. Just add a little bit of water to that and make it moist. And the instruction book. And it looks like it's basically in English. That's a nice change. Usually I get these things in there. Here in Canada anyway, they're half in French and half in English. Which is fine. I shouldn't... I don't want to sound prejudiced or anything. That's the way it goes. If you're down in the United States, it's probably half Spanish and half English. And that's okay too. And this will be the soldering gun or soldering iron. I guess we don't need this little box anymore. Alright, I think I'm going to just... well, maybe we'll open this box here. I'll just reposition a little bit and zoom in on it. Okay, offhand I'd say it is brand spanking new. Okay. What is this now? Another instruction manual? I almost need an instruction manual to tell me how to get into the packaging. Oh, there we go. Oh, I see. Okay. All right, there's a little Allen wrench. At least that's what I call these things, an Allen wrench or an Allen key. And a couple of screws for something. Children shall not play with the appliance. Okay. Looks like this is mostly in English, so I should be able to kind of read it with the help of Google. All right. Now this is the actual part in question here. Now, my first instinct is to take and try and plug this thing together, and I can quite well imagine I will get it right. But you know, I am bad for not reading instructions. I'm one of those people that when me and the wife would go for a trip to a town that I've never been to before, and I start to get myself lost, and she says something to the effect of, well, let's check the map. And I'll say, I don't need the map. And, and then when I'm hopelessly lost and end up in some little town that I've never heard of, then I'll finally let myself read the map. But you know, I think maybe what I should be doing here is just pushing stop on the camera and read the instructions. Let's have a look at the tip here. I highly doubt that the tip has been pre-tinned, so if it's like any other soldering gun that I know of, I should maybe tin the tip. Anyway, let's. It's nice and small, isn't it? It's almost like a pencil. Yeah, nice and small. I think it's going to be really good for. And the tip is nice and small, as long as I don't, let it get all corroded. And I wonder if it's replaceable. Maybe you have to replace this entire thing. Yeah, it looks like this is just one solid piece of construction here. The heating element thing might be on the inside there. I don't know. I don't think the heat would pass all the way from here to here, but it might. I think that probably the heating element is in here. And this does not look like it unscrews, but it might. It might be so precise that I just can't see it. Anyway, I'm going to take out a few minutes here and just peruse through all the instructions before I do something stupid and wreck it. I have downloaded the instructions onto my computer, and the reason I did that was I had read somewhere about firmware. Now, who would think of a soldering iron with firmware? And now I've upgraded the firmware on cameras and stuff like that, but never on a soldering iron. Now, I can't seem to figure out how to easily do it here, so I'm just going to accept it with the basic firmware right out of the factory. I'm pretty sure it's going to be just fine for us, and if it isn't, well, then I'll look into it. Okay, it is after lunch, and I have just had a tuna salad for lunch. Now, that's the fault of one of the viewers. He was talking about tuna salad and got me to thinking about it, and yeah. So if you hear my tummy gurgling, well, sorry, there's nothing I can do about that. Anyway, yeah, we were talking about changing the firmware on this thing. Well, there's a place where you can plug in a mini USB, or maybe this is a micro USB. I'm not sure. Anyway, it goes in here like this, and then you plug this end into your USB on your computer, and then you can change the parameters of this thing here. At least that's what I assume you can do, or you can maybe customize things. Now, I think I've pretty much got it figured out. And like I mentioned, I'm just going to accept the parameters that have been set at the factory. I think it's probably going to be okay. I have learned how to turn the temperature up and down here. I think we are probably safe now to go ahead and try and change and put the tip in. Now I'm kind of fumbly here because my fingers do not work as well as they used to. You're tired of hearing me say that, I'm sure. Come on, Ron. Get this in there nice and tight so it doesn't strip the corners out. There we go. Okay. I don't know how far back out you have to turn that. I don't think a whole lot. Now, I would imagine it wouldn't matter which way this went up. We may as well put it with the lettering up. I don't know if you can see it, but right here on the top, there is some lettering there. Apparently, there's several different types of tips that you can get for this. Now, I don't want to force anything. Am I doing something wrong here? Maybe this has to come all the way out. Although, well, okay, now I would have thought this would have gone in easier than it is. Okay, back to the instructions. I know that I'm sure I could force it in, but oh, Ron, you know, I don't know. Should I show that? I was trying to plug it into the end where the power supply goes. Okay, so the screw that I have taken out here now, I'm going to put this back in because I'm not going to use it. I know what it's for. It's where you would fasten on a ground wire if you wanted to ground your soldering iron so that there would be no static electricity built up. I don't believe I did that. I cannot believe I did it. You know what? Maybe I'm getting too old for this. All right, let's try this again here. You know, if my kids are watching this, they are going to be so embarrassed. Dad, how could you show that? Okay, here we go. All right, now this should just slip right in there. That's better. Okay, we want it with the letters up. Is that supposed to go in any more? I'm just going to release this just a little bit more, just in case it's supposed to go further, but I don't think so. No, there we go. I'm always afraid to force stuff. I've learned the hard way. Sometimes it okay, I think that's tight. Now we'll save these in case I lose this one. I do believe we're ready to plug it in. Now I still haven't tinned the tip, but I was looking at it closely, and it almost looks like it may have been tinned in the factory. Kind of has that look to it. And I do believe this is supposed to come off here. There we go. Okay, the other end of this thing is plugged in. So when we plug this in here, our little light should go on here. Let's see what happens. Yep, there it is. Alright, so we should have 24 volts coming out of here. Now I'm just going to have to rearrange everything here so that it doesn't fall on the floor on me. Now, this is going to be the first time I've plugged it in. I've got it turned around so that the display will be right side up for you. And now, when this goes in here, I mean, I can't plug it in the wrong end because I got the tip in there. Now, you could be sure that if I didn't have the tip in there, I would be trying to plug it in here, you know. I mean, that's just the way this is going. This may not... I can't remember if I'm supposed to push A here to get it to start. I know it's got a standby mode that it goes into after about a minute and a half, and then I think you have to push A again to get it to go back to working temperature, which is, according to the manual, preset at 300 degrees Celsius, which kind of sounds pretty hot to me, but I guess they know what they're doing. Okay, here we go. Now, can you see the display? All right. Press. Can you see that? I can see it. Maybe you can't. It just keeps saying press. Now, I think you're supposed to press A here, and then it should go up to the working temperature. And they said that it could start smoking. Now, I haven't tried to tin it yet, so let's just see what happens. Oh yeah, temperature's going up. I could feel the heat radiating off it. I guess I better be careful not to touch it on the green cloth here. Okay, maybe I should be turning off the spotlight so that you can properly see the temperature gauge there. Okay, is that somewhat better? Okay, well, let's, I'm just going to go ahead and tin this tip here, and then we'll get back to you. Okay, I did tin the tip, and I'm noticing that this tip is probably made of two different types of metal, because this end, the very tip of it here, from about 1/4 of an inch, it tinned just fine, but the rest would not tin, so it's probably supposed to be like that. And I don't know if I should save these or not. May as well. Might be able to use them. We got to actually try this out on photo etch. Now, one thing I was wondering, Tony, if you're watching, how do you shut this off? By just unplugging it? Or is there a way to shut it off with the buttons? I was experimenting with the buttons, and there didn't seem to be an off. You know, it just goes on when you plug it in, and anyway. Oh, one more thing. I think I'm going to try and maybe put the macro lens on, because I'd like you to see this display here. I don't know how I'm going to be able to do that. It's yeah, nice sharp display. I could not get the macro lens to cooperate here. It was just too close. You wouldn't be able to see what was going on, even though the screen itself pretty much filled the field of view. So we're just going to plug this in here, and hopefully I can hold everything so that you'll be able to see this nice little screen here. And okay, now get my hands out of the way. Now it wants us to press A, and once we press A, you should be able to see the temperature climbing up to 300 degrees Celsius, which is its default. So here we go. Okay, it's hot. I don't dare touch it with my hands now. Now if I want to change the temperature, I believe what I do is I hold onto A for 2 seconds. Okay, now I can change it up or down. The highest it'll go is 400. I don't want to do that because I know that, you know, the hotter it is, the easier it's going to burn out, right? So we're back to 300. Okay, now it should cool down to 280. There we go. Now the operating temperature is 280. I think for maybe this delicate photo etch, no, it depends on the type of solder a person uses, of course. Anyway, I think we probably beat this to death. So let's check the voltage on our battery from yesterday. Okay, can you read that okay? Yeah, it looks all right. Now, the first time we're going to do it is with the battery eliminator still plugged in. Okay, now I haven't checked this since yesterday, so let's see what we got here. Well, that can't be right. That can't possibly be right. Well, let's oh, okay, that looks better. So it's 10.8. Let's just try this. Remember we bought this a couple of months ago? And I have not tried it yet. Well, I should maybe be going down to my workshop and getting a couple of alligator clips here. And I imagine it has to display this way, so you're going to get to see this for the first time too. Now I don't think 10 volts is going to give me a shock here. Well, it's I think my battery is shot. Oh, and by the way, this soldering iron will work off 12 volts. 12 volts is the minimum according to the manual. Now, just trying to get this so that you can see it here. We're wasting an awful lot of model building time here. Okay, now, can you read that? Looks like it's flashing 8.7. I don't know what it means when it flashes, but okay, let's just try this one again. This one says, no, it's going up, 14. What's the matter with this crazy thing? I've got a bad connection here again. I think this thing's shot too. Well, here's the thing. I don't know what's happened to this. A few months ago I took it apart and I cleaned the contacts where the mechanical contacts were for this dial. selector dial, and it seemed to be working good again. I thought, okay, problem solved. But now it's acting really strange. We're sort of back to the way we were a year ago. And being as I like to tinker around with stuff like this, I've got to have something that's accurate. So I'm going to have to look into getting another one, I guess. And as far as my battery goes, I guess it's had it. It's just, it's just a lead acid battery, and I guess the plates have dissolved or whatever they do. And so I'm going to have to dispose of this. Now, I probably, in all likelihood, would not use my little soldering iron with 12 volts. It would be I was just wondering if it would work. And I'm pretty sure it would, but it doesn't have to. We've got the power supply, and now, about the photo etch. We were going to actually try and solder some today, at least I thought we were, but we've run out of time here. I've got something that's going to be happening later this afternoon. Oh, and about my battery eliminator, or battery maintainer rather, I put it back on the car, and I've got it hooked up to my battery out there again, because I haven't used the car since I went and got a haircut, and that must be going on a month ago. So yeah, I want that battery to be up in case in an emergency I gotta, who knows, go buy pizza or something. Yeah. Anyway, I think that's it for today, folks. And those of you who are hoping to see photo etch being messed up, well, that's going to have to wait until tomorrow. So thanks for watching, everybody, and all being well, we will see you tomorrow.